Hey folks, Russ Bailey here. Welcome to another BrushPile podcast right here on our app and on iHeartRadio. This is actually a video podcast, so if you're hearing this on iHeartRadio, make sure you check out our app and see the video as well. We've got a great guest in store, just like we always do. David King from Mossback Fish Habitat's going to join us. I've known David for a few years now. We're going to talk about how we actually met, kind of a funny story there, how his company got started, and where it's going in the future. You stay tuned. We'll be right back on iHeartRadio and the BrushPile Podcast. All right, folks, welcome back to the podcast. And with us now from Arkansas, I do believe.
That's right, Northwest Arkansas. Yes, sir.
How we doing, bud?
We're good. We are doing good, my friend. It's good to see you. And yeah, just crazy times we've been living in the last 18 months, hasn't it? I hope to get in a boat and fish with you one of these days. I need a lesson.
I would love that. I would love that. And, Beaver Lake, I have not fished since we had the Midwest Crappie Show. So that's been a long time.
It's been about that long since I've fished it, I think. So it's amazing. You get in the fishing business and all of a sudden you can't fish.
I'm telling you, believe it or not, even the fishing show cuts me back from actual time on the water, like with my buddies and this and that, because we're busy, not just doing the show, but doing the podcast and going to seminars and stuff like that. So is it warm down there in Arkansas right now?
Buddy, here's what we're dealing with. Of course, we just, we just send our thoughts and prayers out for the people from last weekend with the tornadoes. That, all that started right here close to Arkansas and just traveled and just heartbreaking. But, we'll have 70-degree weather and you're wearing flip-flops and shorts and in 24 hours you're bundled up and you can't even stay warm. So we're in that.
Wait a minute, David. What's a cold front for you? 50?
No, well, that's true. You gotta know your audience, don't you? There, so
right.
My apologies for that, but no, we had 70 the other day, and then that horrible weather came through, and it was, and we got down in around 24 that night. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's a big swing. So. And I'm sure that's, the fish don't know what to do. The deer don't know what to do. So, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to get out of the closet. But, that's why I'm putting on weight for the winter. So I can just wear the same thing no matter what the weather
with you.
is. So, but
I'm with you there.
Yes, sir.
So, David, we met several years ago. I was actually shooting a show with my buddy down there, Jason Piper.
Yes, sir.
And I had a terrible case of bronchitis. I mean, terrible case. And tell the folks how we met.
Well,
Mr. Pharmacist.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you were even fishing. So you earned a lot of respect, my friend, for that day. But I know when you traveled that far, but yes, I knew that y'all were going to be, I grew up on Beaver Lake and we'll kind of get into that later, but my boat dock on Beaver Lake had a lot of fish habitat under it, mossbacks, imagine that. But so Jason fished my dock a lot and you guys were up there. So I wanted to come down and meet you because, you're like a celebrity to me. So I was anxious to get to meet you but I didn't want to interrupt the show. But when I came down, you started talking. I was like, oh my gosh, bless his heart. So I didn't know whether to just take you up and let you have the spare room and sleep for a few days and get better. But I did. My dad was a pharmacist and my mom was a nurse. So I kind of, that side of me kicked in. And I think I went and got you some hot tea and
got me some
medicine,
medicine,
throat lozenges and some stuff like that, and tried to get you mended up as best we could for the rest of the day. But yeah,
all joking
right there.
All joking aside, that helped me get through that day because that was miserable health wise.
You were sick, my friend. I'm telling you, I was worried about you. But anyway, so yeah, that's our story, how we met right there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's switch gears. How in the world did you start the company Mossback? What went through your head and made you get started?
Well, the dock you were, where I met you, I grew up as a kid 2 doors down from that house. So we lived there from when I was about 7 years old to 13 or 14. So 7 years we lived right on the water, and I fished almost every day. And Beaver Lake just was full of trees. And I mean, from what I understand, the lake filled a lot faster than the Corps thought it would, and they didn't get a lot of the timber cut that they planned on it. So out in front of the house in the area where you were, Jason, I mean, there's just, you get off the channel and there's just these huge tree flats and everything. And when I was a kid, it was just incredible fishing. We had all that standing timber. We had, you know, those things would break off and blow into the back of the coves. And I remember, you know, just the coves being full of timber and just great fishing when I was a kid. So then we moved off the lake, and then I came back to go to college up here at the University of Arkansas and started fishing a little bit. Then after college, started fishing even more and just going back to what I was familiar with. And it was amazing in those few years how much of that timber was just gone.
Right.
It just rotted, and you know, it was mind-boggling just to see that. So then I was blessed enough after a few years to be able to buy a house 2 doors down from where I grew up. And so really got into fishing a lot. I was able to go anytime I wanted, just about. So I just started, you know, first I just started putting cedar trees in there. Well, that's a lot of work, and they don't last, you know. Everybody would find my spots because I worked out of my house right there overlooking the water, and I'd be out looking out there, and you know, they'd be boats lined up fishing over my trees I'd put in. So that's a little frustrating, and I would get tickled at night. I'd hear boats, and I could hear and see what they were doing too, putting out cedar trees and stuff like that. And then so I didn't, and when I crappie fish, I like to use really light line. I mean, I found that I caught a lot more fish using lighter line. So if you do that and you're fishing over a cedar tree, I mean, you might, you know, I might as well be throwing dollar bills in the water. So you lose a lot of bait. But then I started reading about, guys are using PVC pipe and stuff like that. And we had a big road construction project where they put in all new utilities. And so Russ, I had to go rent a storage facility. I had so much of that stuff, and I made all these elaborate things with the yellow and the red and the black pipe and put it out. And I can honestly say I never caught a single fish off of one of them. And they had been in the water several years, and then we had a really bad drought, and a lot of them were exposed, and most of them looked as pristine as the day I put them in there. No algae stuck to them or anything like that. So that, I think that had a lot to do with it. You know, you've got to sand that stuff to really, if you're going to, you know, and that's a lot of work. So I just kept thinking there's got to be something better. And then I got the idea of the V-shaped limbs, and I wondered if that V wouldn't show up on the graphs at the time. You know, that was in the mid 2000s. It wasn't like it is today, where you can,
today's big difference.
You can read the size of a tire, and you know, and it says Firestone on the side and 30 feet of water. So
absolutely.
But started making those. I got my hands on some that were made out of some plastic material, and just started making prototypes and hanging them under my dock, and it started working, and that V-shaped was holding algae, and that's where it all really started. And then I started giving them to my buddies like Jason and guys that were fishing. I never really thought about, you know, getting in the business. I just was trying to make my time with myself and my family more enjoyable. And then it kind of went from there. So tweaked the product and found a way to mass produce them and you know, tweak the V-shape that material a little bit, and figured out how to put it in a box, and the rest is history. So that was in about 2009, 2010. So
I'll tell you what I like about them. First of all, and I think we're going to throw some video of John Godwin and I that we put one or two out, but they're easy to put together. It doesn't take a lot of time. You've got several different types of them.
Right.
And like you say, they'll attract the algae. Once you have that algae, the bait fish are going to come in. And I'll be honest with you, David, up around where I live, we have a lot of residential areas on our lake also. And in the last 2 years, aluminum boat lifts have been big on our lake. That's what we love to fish. A lot of people have pulled those out and they don't replace them. In our lake, we don't have a lot of natural cover. So if we don't put stuff in, we don't have it. And it's just a matter of time before that really affects the fishing in a negative way. That's why your product is so cool, because you can put stuff in and it's going to bring the fish in.
It will. And, you know, we have stuff, you know, we have the trophy trees for the bigger fish, like more spacing. They're kind of claustrophobic, if you would. They're not going to get in the real confined stuff. And then we have the Safe Haven series that's to protect the bait fish and fry, because like you just said, you start taking that habitat out of the lake and there's nowhere for those little bait fish to hide, and they're just going to get gobbled up. And before you know, you don't have any recruitment going on in your lake. And then it's going to be a major problem. Your game and fish, they're going to have to stock like crazy.
Right.
So yeah, that's, we see that a lot. Just, you know, our lakes are aging and the brush is deteriorating and things like that. So, we're glad to be a part of trying to help that. That's, I want to give back and make this place better than my short time here on it, for sure. And if, you know, Russ, the big thing, if we don't get our kids to hunting and fishing, you know, they're not going to support these tax dollars when your game and fish commission puts something out there that they need tax dollars to try to do things for fishing, to do things for hunting. And if these kids haven't grown up doing that, they're not going to support those things.
Right.
And you're not going to buy a license, you know. So
we had lost a lot of younger anglers,
yes,
you know, and now since COVID hit, we're seeing that number on the raise again, which is so good, because like you say, we need those youngsters out there and having them fall in love with this sport, or we're going to lose it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, you know, COVID has just been a terrible thing, but in all tragedies and things like that, Russ, there's always good that comes out of things. And one of the things, just talking to a lot of the game and fish people like we do, we get to talk to a lot of them. And that's what all of them, there was a major concern about the amount of license being sold, and the people hunting and fishing, even, you know, any age, but especially the younger generation. And there was some major concern there, because, and COVID has changed that. And it was, you know, that's what's been exciting for us, is just to see families families are going fishing, Russ. And that's what's so cool. I mean, we have people, you know, we talk to or come by and just, they're wanting to make a spot for them and their family to go and enjoy fishing, and they want to be able to catch something. So they're fixing their docks up or their ponds and things like that. So that's been one of the good things out of COVID that's happened. It's getting families back together that I see a lot of.
You know, you've talked a couple of times now about the mossbacks being around docks and stuff. Down where you live, there's a lot of floating docks. And a lot of times when we talk about putting structure in the lake, it's just dump it in wherever it falls down. You know, you've got it, you mark it. But what I like about the mossbacks, you can actually hang those under these floating docks. They're not necessarily on the bottom. They're suspended, you know, whatever length you want them. And that's a big plus also.
It's huge here because, you know, our lake could fluctuate 10 to 15 feet in a year. And a lot of lakes are like that. We're fortunate that we do, you know, we have floating docks that go in and out, and it's great for hanging under there. I mean, that's when I got started, that's what I had a boat dock sitting right in the creek channel. I mean, you couldn't dial up a better scenario for having a boat dock. So that's what we did, was hanging them under there. But yeah, the great thing too is we'd get some floods and I could come in and I could go just pull them up and set them up on the dock and wait for the flood and all the floating logs going down the lake, and then chunk them back in, and they were still attached. So it's you're right. That's a big market for us, is the boat docks.
Now, I also know that you guys your company has worked with some other organizations on some pretty good projects for getting habitat back in the water.
Yeah. We have. I mean, we do a lot with state agencies. We do a lot with just groups trying to help their local waters and things like that. But yeah, we've done some big projects with Oklahoma and Texas and North Carolina, Tennessee, and a lot of states like that. We've done projects, and Arkansas, of course. But
that's pretty awesome, and I tell you what, you're a great guy to head this thing up, man. And
I appreciate that. So, I've just been blessed. I love to fish, and I just have a passion for that. I love being around people and getting to talk to people and just share what little I know. But anyway, I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun and get to meet great people. There's just some fantastic people in this industry.
Absolutely.
It's just fun helping people to, help them figure out what they need because every scenario is different, whether you have a pond or, even boat docks. They're all in different levels of water and things like that. And what are what species are you trying to target and things like that. So I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Any new secrets in the future we need to know about?
We just, we're talking about ease of putting them together. We kind of tweaked our limb design a little bit to make those even easier to go in, and that's been very successful. It just speeds up the time that it takes to put one together, and that helps a lot because we may do a project where there's 500 or 600 to thousands of pipes being put together on a big project, and you cut 2 or 3 minutes out per pipe, and it makes a big difference. It does. So that's it. We've come up with a few new things. We've got a new product that hangs from your boat dock. That's it can be temporary or permanent, but it's kind of like if it's called the fish magnet, and say you're taking your family and you're going to rent a house on a lake somewhere. These you can just drop in and attach them and then fish for the weekend or the week, and then roll it back up and take it home with you for the next time you go on a trip or things like that.
That's an important point too, folks. You don't have to put these in the water and wait for 2 years for these things to have fish. They can get fish like within a couple hours. I've seen that.
We've seen it within a few seconds. It's really been a few minutes. We get that a lot, where people are like, well, how long does it take for them to work? It's like us. If we were driving, if we were out walking through the woods and it started raining or sleeting, you're not going to just, I can't get under that. It wasn't here yesterday. You're going to get protected somewhere. And the fish are the same way. If there's a piece of cover, they're going to get behind it. They don't care whether it just came in yesterday. Now, does it help that, there's algae and plant life growing off of it and stuff like that? Because then it's becoming kind of a living reef, and that's going to attract your bait fish. But fish are always looking for something to hide in, especially your bigger fish to ambush prey and things like that. So, that's a biggie. I've dropped them under a dock, and before I could even go get my underwater camera and put it down there, it's had fish in it. They'll have fish in them. So
I think the biggest compliment I can give you as far as how fast they attract the fish, we did a show, I think it was about a year ago, with a guy named Joel Harris. Yes. And I'm sure you know Joel.
Yep.
But at the beginning of the show, we dropped one in, and then we went and fished some other areas. We came back before we ended that show, and they got enough fish in that already that Joel Harris could even catch one. So that's saying something right there.
Right. Was that before or after you kind of lost something expensive in the water?
we don't talk about that. Now, how the heck did you hear about that story? Huh?
Word might have leaked out on that one a little bit.
You know what? And what he's talking about, folks, when we did that show, and it was the same show. Joel and I had all the video we needed for the show. And one of the last things that we do when we're taping BrushPile is our cameraman goes somewhere, puts up the drone, and we get some nice drone footage of the area. And me and Joel was fishing, and I seen the drone go up and down. And I told Joel, I said, man, that's not normal. We better head that way. And About the third or fourth time it went down, it stayed down and went straight under the water. Now, Joel has that GPS. He knows where it's at.
Yeah, it does. Well, you better get any time to get a scuba suit and get out there and get that. So, oh goodness, yeah.
Be interesting. See, the video's still good on it.
Yeah, that's just one of those things you could cry, but you just laugh, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just part of it. So
I was just glad it was Joe, the camera guy, that did it, not me.
there you go. Exactly. Big difference. But isn't it fun? That's just the fun part of this business, just making memories and just, they're just some fine people in this industry. I mean, there really are. And that's what I enjoy about it. I wish I had a lot more time to get out and do things and spend more time like that. And I'm working on some stuff where I can maybe try to do that. I want to get out and fish with pro staff more and do things. I'd love to come fish with you, my friend. So
we'd love to have you on the show for sure.
Yeah. I think I remember how to fish. I'll have to to see, but anyway, yeah, when you don't live on the lake anymore, it's a little different because I fished about every day. So
yeah,
that's but you know, things change, seasons of life change, and you just roll with it and go. So you do.
Before we close, let me ask you this. If someone would like more information on the Mossbacks or where to purchase those, what's the easiest route for them?
We would love to talk to you. I mean, we love it when customers call. So we have a phone number, and Tracy will try to take your call and take care of you. And if you're an agency or a dealer, we can get you to one of our sales folks, or Tracy can take care of you. So that number is 479-751-4100. Or you can go to our website. It's www.mossbackfishhabitat.com. And if you've got a pond or even a dock, we put a questionnaire on there, Russ, so people can kind of answer some questions about their different application, and it will direct them to the products that they need for that. And that's we did that about a year ago, and that has been a great tool on our website for, but if they still have questions, we love to talk to our customers and get to know them so they can be part of the Mossback family. And we're here to help any way that we can. We believe we know we have a great product, and we want to have great customer service along with that. So that's very important to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I appreciate you joining us. You've got a great product, and it produces fish, and it gives that habitat. And like I say, especially for people with lakes like mine, where it seems like more and more of the habitat is being pulled out, it's nice that we can get these, put them in, and they're going to produce, and they're going to produce for years and years. And that's important for the industry. You're doing a great thing.
Well, we appreciate that. We just got to get you to get that cedar tree off the front of your shirt and put a Mossback in.
I'll talk to Preston today. We got to get some new jerseys ordered, so we're going to do it.
Yeah, no, hey, I understand. I do for sure. So it is so good to visit with you, my friend. And I just appreciate what you do for the fishing industry, and try to go. If I could just add one thing that we're really seeing that we have really worked really hard on is we have really tried to educate people about understanding the need of habitat. That has been our focus for years, and just how important it is. And what has really been exciting, Russ, is we've really seen that in the last couple of years, that people are getting that. It used to be if they were building a pond or doing something like that, habitat was always the last thought. Mm-hmm. But it has been incredible to see, and we worked so hard in this to try to educate just the public about the need for habitat, like I said, to now see that people are looking at that before they ever even decide to build. What do I need to do in my pond? What do I need to do to make the fishing better, and things like that? So that's been a really, from my aspect of it and where we're at, that's been an exciting part of the business, just to see that. And when you worked as hard as we did to try to educate people in that area, it's fun seeing that come about and people catching on to that.
Well, tell you what, you've done a great job. You can tell you're passionate about what you do. And that, seriously, and that makes a big difference. It really does.
Well, it is. I do. I love it. I do. I am very thankful. I'm very blessed, Russ. I sure am that I get to do this and get to share with people and get to meet people and just visit and make a difference. That's what we're here for. And just use this platform to share about fishing and the good Lord and just the blessings and the good things. So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hope to see you soon. Keep the cough medicine close if I get down your way. And hopefully we'll get on the water together. Like I say, we'd love to get a show with you.
I got some new bags in my trick. Yeah, or some new tricks in my bag for cough lozenges. We'll fix you up there. So anyway, but yes, sir. Well, I look forward to that and hope we get to do that really soon. And I thank you for inviting me on. We appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on here. We'll do it again sometime. And thanks. And hopefully, folks, you've learned some stuff today about the Mossbacks. Check out their website. Give them a call. When you start using these, you will not be disappointed. And it's going to give you a place that's going to hold those fish for you, especially if you live on the lake. And like we talked about with the docks, I've never seen anything better for hanging that structure underneath the docks. It's outstanding. And it absolutely works. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Have a great rest of the day.
All right, you too, my friend. David King from Mossback Fish Habitat. Haven't got to speak with him much here lately, but I'll tell you what, he's a great guy, great products. And check those out right now, folks. Before we end the podcast, we're going to do a little tournament action. We'll go over some of the spring tournaments coming up in some of the local trails as well as the national trails. But first, let's hear from our sponsors. Folks, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for the BrushPile Podcast, the B&M Pole Company, Crappie Magnet, Slime Line Fishing Line, War Eagle Boats, Cornfield Crappie Gear, I Hold Jigs, Driftmaster Rod Holders, Erupt Fishing RTD, Easy Drift Trolling Systems, Offshore Tackle Company, Mossback Fish Habitat, Power Pole, and Hook and Bullet. Without these fine sponsors, we could not have this podcast available for you. So if you get a chance, check out their websites and get some of their products. They're the best in the business. That's why we have them here on BrushPile Fishing. Folks, if there's any of the products you see us using on the show and you'd like to have some of those, make sure you check out our BrushPile store. Just go to our website, which is brushpilefishing.com, hit the shop section, and everything we have on there is available for you. Check it out. We run sales from now and then. Great products, great prices on the BrushPile Fishing website. Okay, folks, it's time to take a look at some tournament action, some of the clubs around the country, as well as the national trails. We're going to start out with the 2022 West Tennessee Crappie Trail. They've got a tournament at Kentucky Lake on March 5th. March 19th, there'll be a Reelfoot. April 2nd on Pickwick. April 16th on Reelfoot. June 11 on Lake Barkley, and Kentucky Lake on June 25th. Percy Priest, August 19th and 20th will be their club championship. Again, that's the West Tennessee Crappie Trail. All right, and now the 2022 Crappie Masters East Texas State Trail, February 12th on Lake Palestine, March 5th, Lake Livingston, Conroe on April 9th, May 14th, Lake Somerville, June 11 on Toledo Bend, July 16th on Sam Rayburn, and their state championship will be in August, and that's yet to be announced. And now the HOI Crappie Club out of Illinois, March 19th on St. Chris, April 2nd on Banner Marsh, April 16th on Decatur, April 30th on Clinton Lake, May 14th on Lake Shelbyville, June 4th on Evergreen, and that will be their spring schedule. The Indiana Slab Masters starting March 26th on Patoka, April 9th on Lake Freeman or Schaefer. You have your choice on that one. April 23rd and 24th on Mississinawa and Salamone. This is a super event. May 7th on Monroe, May 21 on Rocky Point on the Ohio River, June 4th on Wawasee. And September 10th will start their fall schedule on Brookville. Again, that's the Indiana Slab Masters. The 22 schedule for the Northeast Ohio Crappie Club, April 30th on Pymatuning, May 14th on Shenango, May 21st and 22nd on West Branch, June 4th on Mosquito, and June 18th on Alum Creek. Also, make sure you check out the big challenge tournament they're going to have at Dale Hollow. We'll have more on that here soon. Again, that's the Northeast Ohio Crappie Club. Take a look at one of the national trails, Crappie Masters. They'll start their schedule January 21st on the St. Johns River in Florida. You know there's going to be some big dogs weighed in there. February 21st or February 25th on Lake Darbone, March 11 on Grenada, April 1st on Lake Fork, Texas, May 6th on Wren Lake, and June 17th on Truman Lake. That'll be their spring schedule. Again, you can get more information, crappiemasters.net. And now the American Crappie Trail. They'll start February 18th and 19th on the Alabama River. They'll move to Lake Gunnersville, Alabama, March 5th and 6th. The Ouachita River, April 22nd and 23rd. Lake Washington, Mississippi, May 13th and 14th. They'll go to Truman Lake, Great Summer Lake, June 3rd and 4th, and Grenada Lake on September 9th and 10th. Again, that's the ACT. Let's take a look at Crappie USA, one of the oldest running national trails. Lake Harding, Alabama, February 12th. Darbone, Louisiana, February 19th. March 19th, they'll be at Weiss Lake, Alabama, Dock Shooting Paradise there. March 26th, Lake Hartwell, South Carolina. Cave Run, Kentucky on April 2nd. April 9th, there'll be Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. April 16th, Grenada Lake, Mississippi. May 14th, Carlisle Lake in Illinois. Decatur Lake, Illinois on June 4th. Grand Lake St. Mary's, that's right. We're having another super event, folks. Great payout. It's going to be April 22nd and April 23rd. Again, that's Grand Lake St. Mary's, my home lake. Should be some big black crappie weight in that time. Great payouts. April 29th and 30th, another super event at Green River Lake in Kentucky, and another super event in Milford Lake, Kansas, June 10th and 11th. We also have Crappie USA's Mega Bucks event on Santee Cooper, South Carolina on March 11th and 12th. For more information, you can go to Facebook or just check out Crappie USA on the web. Let's look at the 22 Crappie Anglers of Texas schedule for their spring events. February 19th, Lake Palestine. March 19th, Lake Cooper. March 26th, they'll have their Crappie Fest. That should be at Lake Fork. April 16th at Lake Lavon. May 7th, they'll have their big Crappie Bonanza, and that's also on Lake Lavon. And May 21st, they're back at Lake Fork. Again, that's the spring schedule for the 22 Crappie Anglers of Texas schedule. All right, let's head on down to Florida. The Sunshine State Crappie Trail, brand new this year. Their first tournament's going to be, let's see here, February 5th on Lake Okeechobee, March 5th on Lake Tahoe, April 9th on Lake Crescent, May 27th and 28th will be their Florida Championship on the Rodman Reservoir. For more information on that, you can check out the Sunshine Crappie Trail on Facebook. Okay, let's take a look at the South Arkansas Crappie Club, February 5th on Darbone, March 19th on Millwood, April 9th on Pine Bluff, April 30th on Greeson, May 28th on Grand. That's their spring schedule, the South Arkansas Crappie Club. Head back to Florida for the Florida Crappie Club tournament schedule, February 12th on Lake Rosalie, March 19th on Lake Santa Fe, and April 16th on Dora. Been there, beautiful lake, good times there. So that is the Florida Crappie Club. And now let's look at the Magnolia Crappie Club in Mississippi, one of the nation's oldest and biggest clubs. January 29th, they'll be at Sardis Lake, February 19th on Eagle Lake, March 19th, they'll be at Grenada, and April 9th on Barnett Reservoir. April 30th, they'll be in Enid, and their championship to be determined will be on May 21st. Again, that's the Magnolia Crappie Club in Mississippi. Heading to Oklahoma, February 19th, Lake Wister. March 19th, Broken Bow. April 9th, Eufaula. May 21st, Skiatook. June 11th on Hugo. That will be the spring schedule for the Oklahoma Crappie Anglers Club. Also, folks, want to bring up the first annual 2022 Dale Hollow Shootout. It's going to be Thursday, November 10th through November 12th. That'll be at Dale Hollow, Tennessee. It's going to be great invitation-only tournament. Good payout, good fishermen. Check that out. Again, go to the Midwest Crappie Alliance on Facebook for more information. All right, folks, that's all for today's podcast. I hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We'll be back again with another one. And again, if you're listening to this on iHeartRadio, make sure you get the BrushPile app for your phone or your smart TV and check out some of the video podcasts we have also. So again, thanks for joining us. We'll be back again. I'm Russ Bailey. We're out of here.